Hello, everyone. We hope that you're having a great afternoon. My name is Eunyo Choi, and this is my teammate, Jia Kim. And we are currently undergraduate students studying sociology at the College of Social Sciences. And we are very, very grateful that we are here to present to you about shared forestry, strategy for sustainable forest management on individual, national, and international levels. And so, as you may have seen from our title, we were actually inspired by the concept of sharing economy, which was introduced with the emergence of digital platforms and attempts to share resources that would otherwise remain idle. Uber and Airbnb are all successful examples of such sharing economies that have led to the reuse of transportation into economic and spaces into economic resources. As the sharing economy proves to be a plausible and sustainable approach, we have attempted to bring a similar framework to the area of future forestry. This concept will be examined from the individual, national, and international levels, as each level has different aims and contributions to offer in creating and maintaining the concept of shared forestry. So as urgent concerns regarding forestry has arisen from examples such as the 2022 California forest fires, and since forests and natural borders do not always follow the artificial political national borders, the need for a shared forestry strategy on all levels remain higher than ever. On the individual level, digital tools and ecotourism are major resources that can be utilized to raise further awareness and boost public participation. An already excellent example of this would be Forestry England, a non-governmental organization which mainly utilizes their digital platforms to create and promote activities such as art in the forest, veteran trees, open habitats to the public. And another example that might be closer to us Koreans would be the recreational forests, or hyangnim, which is an example of forestry use incorporated with community well-being here in South Korea. We believe that maintaining public attention and also raising awareness is needed in order for more sustainable forest management plans. As such, using online apps and platforms to provide an easier and a direct access to activities, products, and resources, information will be beneficial and is something that is viable on the individual level. Shared forestry may also be of use to small local businesses and individual actors, as online apps and platforms will enhance access to products that have been manufactured through sustainable methods, and this will raise the moral and environmental standard when it comes to producing and purchasing such forestry products, and hence will solidify this sense of shared forestry. Moving on, as is already seen in online services from organizations such as the Pacific Whale Foundation that allows its users to track marine animals, digital ecotourism can also be another example of using platforms to share experiences and awareness. Such a method is effective in that it can foster active engagement, thus raising awareness of forest wildlife and endangered species, but may also lead to communal efforts to protect and manage our forests more sustainably. In terms of propositions on the individual level, we propose the above three. 1, raising and maintaining awareness of forest habitat and wildlife in general would be much more effective coming from grassroots actors and activists. 2, organizing and staying actively engaged in community-based activities and events. As we have seen from the examples above, forest has the potential to act as a communal space without being limited to a simple geographical location or natural landscape. 3, perhaps the hardest and the most important part would be for individuals to urge policymakers, organizations, and governments to take further legal, administrative, and sustainable action.
Secondly, on the national level, we will discuss how the concept of shared forestry will look like among bordering countries. Bordering nations have the potential to significantly enhance their ability to respond to the climate crisis by adopting collaborative forest management models. Notable examples already in place are the Amazon Cooperation Treaty Organization, the ACTO, and Central African Forest Commission, the COMIFOC. In ACTO, South American nations share responsibility for protecting the Amazon. Through joint efforts, they monitor deforestation rates, coordinate biodiversity conservation, and implement sustainable forestry practices across the border. By pooling resources and sharing technological expertise, nations can create a more impactful outcome when it comes to forestry management. Some examples of collaborative ACTO projects are Akri Ucayali Project, ACTO Biomass, and Amazon Basin Project. Here we are able to see that sharing forestry through the form of intergovernmental organizations can not only align itself with larger global sustainability goals, but also implement more effort into sustainable management of regional forest and biohabitat. The COMIFOC is an intergovernmental organization established by the treaty signed in 2005 by the heads of states and governments of Central African countries. They exert considerable influence in the formulation of regional initiatives and policies. They strive to manage sustainable Congo's forest ecosystem and prevent the loss of abundant local biodiversity. Therefore, numerous African countries adjacent to Congo's forests are joining the partnership by investing national resources to protect forests. Through shared funding mechanisms and sharing forest resources and solutions, neighboring countries can more effectively mitigate the forest damage. We may construct shared forestry among bordering countries by referring to existing cooperation systems, and this complementarity enables countries to cover vast forest areas and address issues that transcend national boundaries. Additionally, shared management frameworks make it easier to standardize conservation policies and establish a unified approach to sustainable development. Therefore, we would like to propose 3 specific cooperation measures to protect forest resources among neighboring countries. The first is the Joint Forest Restoration Project. Sustainable restoration methods at border areas can be found through budget contributions, technological cooperation by countries, and convergence with local knowledge. In addition, jointly establishing relevant regulations and an arbitration body for faithful implementation will foster measures such as finding a common ground in forest protection laws and a sanctions policy. Finally, establishing an ecological corridor will transform the border into an ecological boundary. Through this, it is expected that easier forest protection will be possible by effectively integrating infrastructure and lowering geographical boundaries, such as jointly establishing conservation plans in both countries. At the international level, the development of global forest management platforms has proven to be instrumental in improving forest conservation worldwide. A leading initiative in this field is REDD+, which helps developing countries reduce deforestation by providing financial incentives. Through this initiative, countries gain access to the latest satellite imagery and drone technologies to monitor forestry in real time. By utilizing these technologies, even nations with limited resources can better manage their forests and track illegal deforestation. Moreover, REDD+ promotes the exchange of optimal practices and data on sustainable forest management. This fosters collaboration between countries that may not share borders, but face similar challenges, whether that be geological, geographical, or cultural. The platform also enables countries to report on their forest protection progress transparently, helping them share knowledge and hold each other accountable on the global stage. When we look at the recent case in Korea, the Korea Forest Service visited East Timor to share successful forest restoration cases in Korea and discussed forest cooperation measures between 2 countries. In particular, countries with relatively little relevant knowledge in the process of efforts to respond to the climate crisis are lacking in performing tasks that require specialized skills such as forest restoration. Therefore, international cooperation, such as technology sharing and dispatch of experts, is essential. Likewise, the UNCCD emphasizes the promotion of peace and trust through the restoration of devastated forests between border countries, especially aimed at supporting the poorest countries suffering from severe desertification.
And so comprehensively, we would like to suggest a global forest management data pooling system, which could be designed where all countries, regardless of their contribution, can access a centralized and shared repository of forest-related data. Countries would input their data, which would then be standardized and analyzed to create a unified global forest monitoring platform. This system would democratize access to cutting-edge information, allowing countries with fewer resources to benefit from the same insights as wealthier nations. It would also support more precise, data-driven policy decisions and enable real-time tracking of deforestation, carbon stocks, and biodiversity changes. More specifically, we propose the establishment of an online platform and satellite monitoring network for global forest management. As a concrete implementation plan, data surveyed and analyzed by each country will be and data analyzed by satellites will be shared in real time. The current status of forest protection by country, carbon emissions and absorption, and the progress and restoration projects will be accessible by them. At this time, the cost of developing and maintaining networks and platforms can be shared according to the capabilities of each country and through multilateral agreements with international organizations. It is also necessary to prepare standardized regulations to establish a forest cooperation system between countries. With regards to this goal, an annual forum can be held to discuss forest-related experiences and cooperation measures between countries, and by promoting the participation of various actors on all levels, interest and support for underdeveloped countries can be increased, and more ideas for a sustainable forest can be collected. Furthermore, it is important to establish an international system that transparently reports the results of each country's policies and implementations. The effectiveness of current forest-related projects and system can be verified through a verification system, and cooperation between countries may be strengthened. In conclusion, the concept of shared forestry can be widely adapted and applied according to the different levels and needs. On an individual level, digital tools, such as apps that promote forest resources and wildlife, will allow for more experience and common awareness to be shared. Therefore, we hope it would be useful in promoting shared forest management to the general public. On a national level, further collaboration and information exchange would greatly benefit not only the forest ecosystem, but also the management systems. Lastly, on an international level, a large-scale global platform to share data and strategy is suggested in order to allow for appropriate use of shared information on forest ecosystems and management, all the while creating a long-lasting network for the future of forestry. By now, it is widely understood that modern life has left a lasting mark on our planet, with deforestation, climate change, and other impacts taking a permanent toll. We hope these discussions are able to speak real changes for the future of sustainable forestry. Thank you so much for listening.